Hello, everybody. It's so good to see you again. J.R. Arsenault here with Enjoy the Journey. And today I have someone named Alain Burrese. Alain is a friend of mine, and Alain is a man who has spent his life pursuing self-defense, protecting people, and things along those lines. I won't steal his thunder too much. He has a really interesting story, and we're going to get into that right now. I'm going to introduce you to Alain. And here he is, the one, the only, the Mr. Alain Burrese. How are you, Alain, today?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me on the show, JR.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Now, Alain and I are in different places geographically, but we have a similar mindset. We don't want anyone to get hurt or be a victim. And that's why I wanted to have him on, because he's, like I said, I don't want to over dramatize it, but he's really spent his life teaching people how to defend themselves and protect themselves. And you'll hear about that. But I'm in North Carolina, and Alain is in sunny, balmy Montana. And tell us a little bit about yourself, Alain. Now, you went back, going back, you were in the service, from what I understand. Tell us a little bit about that.
I was in North Carolina back in the 80s at Fort Bragg, down there by Fayetteville, when I was with the 82nd Airborne Division. I was there for a couple years. Then I got transferred and went over to South Korea with the 2nd Infantry Division. And I finished out my term of service there. And then when I got out the summer of 89, I drove from Montana all the way back to Fort Bragg to see a couple friends and to pick up some stuff that I had left with a friend there to bring back to Montana. And that was right when the 82nd was getting ready to go down to Panama. It was that Christmas of 89, because I went in and saw my old Command Sergeant Major, Katie, and he was like, "You don't talk about this until you see it on the news, but we're getting ready to leave." And so that's the last time I was in North Carolina, though. I haven't been back since, and I'd like to.
Well, you're more than welcome. And, hey, if everybody didn't notice, I'm a big fan of Alain's dog. I like Alain a lot, but his dog, Rocky the Aussie, I sort of goaded him to have a little website of his own out there on Facebook. So you should become a fan, because he is the cutest Aussie on the planet. Trust me.
Anyway, we're very fortunate. We lucked out because he is a wonderful little dog.
He really is.
He's a little over 6 months old, but he is a great little addition to our family. So we are very happy that he's joined us, and look forward to having him around for a long time.
Well, I don't say I'm jealous too much, and I won't say it around you, because you're going to find out Alain has some certifications over and above being a sniper in the Marines, I think, if I recall correctly.
Army.
Oh, excuse me, 82nd. Yeah, I'm 101st. So if you're not 101st, it doesn't rate,
Yeah.
But tell me a little bit about the next step, where you got involved with martial arts and things like that.
Sure. The martial arts, when I was a little kid, I was fascinated with them, reading books, trying to learn in my living room, just like, Daniel in Karate Kid, when he's trying to learn out of the books before he got an instructor, Mr. Miyagi. It wasn't until high school that I actually got to go to formal training with a judo club in Thompson Falls, and then did some competing in judo. Then when I left Thompson Falls, I did some karate down there at Fayetteville when I was stationed with Fort Bragg, when we weren't out in the woods doing stuff. Did a little taekwondo in Korea, but was too busy with Army. And so I didn't do a lot of martial art training while I was stationed in Korea. I did a lot of fighting in the bars and stuff on weekends. Then I got out and I did some more karate. I did some more judo. I got introduced to Hapkido, and that was by an American instructor, Shian Dennis Dallas. Then I moved around some more, did this and that, and I finally decided I wanted to get serious about Hapkido. So 1996, I went back to Korea as a civilian. I taught English to pay the bills, and I trained 2 classes a day, Monday through Friday, and 1 class on Saturday in Hapkido while I was living there. And I teaching English to pay the bills. And I've been going back and forth to Korea since. And all of my Dan rank, black belt rank, are through that instructor in Korea.
And am I correct in remembering that you were a 5th degree?
Correct.
This,
fifth degree black belt in Hapkido through my instructors in Korea.
Don't want to piss this guy off. So, okay. So you're some big bad dude, government vet, combat trained, 5th degree Hapkido. What's this thing I see in the background with Protect? You can do all this stuff, but why don't you just want to give someone a judo chop or a Hapkido chop versus a whatever?
Oh, a couple of reasons. I don't care how good you are. When you go hand to hand with somebody, there is a risk for yourself. They might be better than you. They might get lucky. It doesn't matter if they're good or lucky. They can hurt you. And anytime you're in a physical confrontation with somebody, there is a risk.
Exactly.
You can stop that person from a distance with something like this. It's better for you. And if I have to control a person, because I've worked a lot of security and taken people out, if I have to control a person physically and they get combative, there's no real easy way to do it. And sometimes you have to hurt a person, or a person gets hurt when you're trying to control them. That's why, when you look at law enforcement officers, they say, well, God, he was beating this guy or doing this. Well, if you don't do that, they do it back to you sometimes. It's very hard to restrain a fighting person and make it look good. It looks bad because it's ugly and people are. So if you can stop them from a distance and put them down with some pain with something like this, much better. And you don't need the training. Yeah, I've done martial arts since a kid and all the other things we just talked about. I can't teach you if you're a high school girl or a lady or a man. If you've never trained before and you say, Alan, I want to protect myself, I can't teach you in an hour what it's taken me decades to do. I can teach you this really quick and you can defend yourself. No matter what your size, your sex, it doesn't matter. Anyone can defend themselves with this. And that's why this is the first company and the first product out of decades that I actually started to promote. And then after I was promoting it for a little while, the CEO said, Alan, you want to come on board and run a training program, be the director of training,
Nice.
Bring active shooter training and stuff to our join forces and help more people. And that's what we did.
Great. Now, I've had fake 10% pepper spray and real 10% pepper spray. Sometimes you don't know till you got it. And I actually am silly enough to test the product to see how, and sometimes you regret that for a while.
Yes.
I'm saying, but okay. So I am a big proponent of, and I make no money off of this. Everybody, there's no link. There's no, I just think this is an excellent product. And I think it's an excellent product because it'll definitely be much higher protection level. Stopper. You want to stop somebody in their tracks. You don't want to hurt them, but you want to immobilize them. And this bad boy, if I understand correctly from the propaganda that Alan gave me before, that it's like 20 minutes and you're safe. Basically, there's a 20-minute window.
Yes, I mean the real big thing is this is not pepper spray, and that's
right.
And I used to be a proponent of pepper spray. I don't have anything. I wasn't against pepper spray, but I did know its limitations and such. And then when I learned of this product, the reason I endorsed this and then join the company, it's better than pepper spray. It works faster, but it can also be decontaminated quicker. And we have a decontaminant that will actually reverse it within minutes. If you don't have a decon, it's going to put that bad guy down for at least a good 15, 20 minutes, way long enough for you to get to safety. Because the active ingredient in this, instead of pepper spray and pepper, is CS, which is in tear gas and other things, but it's been concentrated into a gel. And we did that so it could be used inside hospitals, because a hospital couldn't use the pepper spray because it gets in the HVAC system. You have to shut the hospital down to clean it. This has actually been deployed in hospitals, stopped violent people. Then they restrain the person, clean them up, and nobody else in the hospital is affected, didn't have to shut anything down, nobody missed work. So it does exactly what it's supposed to. And after hospitals were using it, schools, churches, other businesses that had potential violence said, we need that too. And then the law enforcement started looking at it and saying, wait a second, that stuff won't contaminate my car. It won't contaminate me or my partner. And it'll put them down faster. So now law enforcement are starting to buy this and carry it. Well, and the fast part is what's really great.
That's what I like.
Are sprayed, and they have to do some tasks after they're sprayed with pepper spray. And then they complete the task, and then they get to decon. We have not had any officer complete any task after being sprayed with this. Because in most cops, they said, oh, I want to test it first. They test it. And we had people ask them, could you do anything? And they're sitting there, no, because I can't open my eyes. So it's way faster. And that was the selling point for me, that it was, could be used inside. It's quicker, can be used by anybody. I don't know of a better non-lethal product
that's completely effective and has the quickest response rate, which is, if there's a threat, you want it immediately countered. And this, to me, that's one reason why I bought several of them from your company, and a big proponent of it. Tom Ginn, is a good friend Tom, weighed in and said, do you need training or certification to have this use, or can I carry, or do I need to have a concealed carry when I carry it with me out in public?
No, you do not need anything. It's the same as pepper spray. How you can walk in the store and buy pepper spray. You could go to Amazon or walk in a store and buy this. I mean, you can buy it off our website too, but we're getting into retail. So there are some states that have size restrictions on both pepper spray and this product. California, for instance, we have this 5-ounce can. Can't sell the 5-ounce can in California because they have a 4-ounce restriction. But this is a 2-ounce. It's fine. And there's only a couple states where the 2-ounce is too big. And we're hoping those states would just change their laws, because we think a 1/2 ounce restriction is ridiculous for this or for pepper spray.
Well,
don't need that.
I didn't mean to interrupt. Depending on like how many puffs, if I'm doing like a 2-second burst,
this will get you, it's a good 25-30 seconds steady stream, because it doesn't come out. And we recommend just saturate the guy's face until he's down, instead of just doing little bursts. Just like you would do a wasp hive, spray it on and just saturate the guy's face until he's done. If he has glasses like you do, you're sort of aiming at the forehead, and it's going to ooze down behind the glasses and still work.
Nice.
I do want to say one more thing about the training question.
Sure.
We have a training program that hospitals, schools, institutions, they want it. And we do user certifications for those institutions, because that makes the insurance companies and the risk managers and everybody more happy, because we're teaching them what the product is, when and when not to use it, making sure they know, the legalities of when and when you can't defend yourself. It's not a patient management tool. This is only for if somebody's going to be hurt. And then we actually take them out with one of the inerts, and they get to practice
I'm
a little
sorry, I'm
bit.
not meaning to laugh. Patient management.
Or
Okay, get back in your
student
bed.
management if you're in school, right?
You're gonna get back in your bed or else.
Yeah. So
Sorry.
those are the training programs that institutions often require and they love, because they can have their people trained and certified, and they can keep those records in case lawsuits or something come up later after it's been deployed. So it's very important for institutions. But for an individual, said you can walk in a store and buy this just like you can buy pepper spray, and you can carry it. And you will be held to the same responsibilities of pepper spray or any other means of defending yourself. You have to be justified. And, I teach a lot of that kind of stuff in different classes and programs too.
Like, are there any states that restrict the use of pepper spray? I don't know, but I don't think there would be.
Pepper spray and this product are legal in all 50 states, except for the size restrictions. And Michigan, for instance, this is too big for Michigan. We're going to come out with a smaller one that we'll be able to sell in Michigan. Some states, like I said, you can buy the small one, but you can't buy the big one. So it just depends. And we have that information on our website for people as well. And we have it set up where if you try to buy one that's too large for your state, we won't ship it to you.
Right. But you would ship 2 smaller ones.
If it's legal in your state.
Yeah.
Because you're good.
I'm just saying, it's sort of like that thing in New York City where they said, no more big gulps. We can't have any more big gulps. So people were coming out with 2 cups and going, and it was actually more liquid.
Right. Yeah. So if you can't get the big one, you just carry 2 small ones.
I want the big one.
And I would always recommend anybody that buy these, if you're not familiar with them, buy one of the trainers too. You can see the labels and these are different. This is a one. This with the yellow is the training unit. It says right on there, training unit. And it's just for practice. And so you go out and do some practice so you're comfortable with it before you carry the real one.
So we've got a situation with somebody that they're coming into a hospital scenario where there's somebody wants to go see his friend and the visiting hours are over, and this guy likes to write his own ticket. He's the one that walks in without the face mask. That persona.
First and foremost, you're always going to use de-escalation in your communication skills. And Reflex Protect has classes on those too. And we try to cover the different areas of potential violence. So you try to talk the person, and we use our communication skills. This is only if the talking fails and the person's going to try to force his way and maybe hit that nurse or hurt that person, the receptionist, whoever it is, to force their way into the place. That's when this is used. It's to keep people from being physically hurt. But we always want to try our de-escalation and effective communication skills first to see if we can resolve things in that manner.
Yeah. And an obvious point, I like to make obvious points, is I put Alan's contact information on there. They're very, we were somewhat distant acquaintance type people when I first reached out to them. And the response was immediate. The product that I got was shipped very promptly. It goes across the country. I got it right before Christmas, so that I was really surprised to get it as early as I did, in the same decade or whatever with what went on last Christmas. So your company's mechanics speak very well for themselves, and I'll give that endorsement. And again, I don't get any money from this or anything. This is just,
and I appreciate that. And the website that's going across is my Survive a Shooting, which is based on my active shooter book. There are links to Reflex Protect at that website, or you can also go to reflexprotect.com straight off if you're just looking for this product. So,
okay, this perfect lead in. Tell me about, because we not only have a badass here, certified fifth degree, but we also have a dad, a dog owner that I love, and the dog. I like Alan, love his dog. Let's get that straight. But you're also an author and a motivational speaker. Tell me a little bit about being an author, first of all. Whatever possessed you to write a book.
You know, when I was in the military, I was reading Paladin Press books.
Yes.
They did a lot of martial art, self-defense, military titles. One of the authors, Mark McYoung, I wrote him a letter because I liked what he was writing. He wrote me a letter back. This was way back in the early 90s, right when I got out of the military. So we didn't have email and all that stuff yet. It was real letters. Turned into phone calls. Then it turned into meeting in person. And I told him an idea I had for a book. And he said, yeah, you should write that. And so I went on, I graduated college. I went and lived in Japan for a year. And I was playing with that idea of the book. When I came back, I wrote the book, was living in California with Mark. I actually lived with him. He gave me a place to stay at his place till I got my own apartment. But we were doing bodyguard and security work for exotic dancers and stuff down in California at night, training during the day, and tidying up my manuscript, which he wrote a foreword for, and I pitched it to Paladin Press and had my first book published by Paladin Press in 1996. And since then, I've written a number of books, a novel, some other books on self-defense, some quote books on tough guy movies, because I love tough guy movies and tough guy quotes. And the most recent book, which I'm very proud of, is Survive a Shooting. You see the website across the screen. It is the book that I wanted when I was being asked, what should I do in these active shooter situations? And I started researching what people could do. And I took classes. I became certified by Safariland. I read everything out there. And then I wrote my book because it's the book I wanted out there, which is one of the most authoritative and complete books on the topic.
So surviving a shooting without giving away that it was the butler doing it to Mrs. Plum in the library with the rope. What would you say your elevator advice to someone surviving a shooting other than move to the side quick or something like that?
Obviously, first and foremost, I want people to be aware of their surroundings so they can maybe recognize potential danger and get out of the area in the first place. But if you are someplace and bullets start flying, you have three options. You can escape. The government calls that run. I don't like to use run. I like to escape, because just running, where are you running to? I want to make sure that your movement is escaping, getting you out of the area. That could be crawling. It could be running. It could be climbing out a window. Escaping is an option. If another option is to deny that killer access to you, that can be barricading the door. It could be getting behind something that bullets won't go through, cover, versus concealment that would just hide you. Cover protects you. So getting behind cover, barricading yourself in, but doing something where that killer cannot have access to harm you. If the killer has a knife, it could be holding a chair between you and that killer, keeping him away from you. Third is to attack back, defend yourself, and take the guy out. I mean, that's your option. I mean, you could be sitting and hiding in a corner and a bad guy comes in and shoots you as you're hiding. No, I want you right at the doorway. So if he does get in that door, that's where you take him out. And if you got a can of this, you just blast him and spray him in the face. If you don't have this, you use a fire extinguisher or your hands or a chair, whatever you can.
Anything.
Take the guy out. And that's all up here. It's having that mental warrior survival mindset, which is part of what I teach, and a very important part of what I teach in my courses, that you have to get that inside, and you have to know why you want to live. And we go into that in the classes. I help people discover what they will fight for and what's important in their life, which will give them that fortitude to spray the guy or hit the guy or whatever they have to do to stop him, even if they're hurt.
Well, again, this is, although I recommend it, this is not an infomercial for this stuff. It's not an infomercial, but so many people want to get a gun. I'm a licensed concealed carry, large caliber, small caliber, Sig Sauer fan, gun owner. Disclosure.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm talking about this stuff first over my 44 mag, over my 45 ACP with the hollow points, with the badass opens up and maximum 800 foot-pounds to throw them back, Dirty Harry style, whatever. Believe me, that'll throw anybody back at point blank range. But if the guy's got, I don't know if it used to be, I can't keep up with the drugs, nor do I want to, but like angel dust, PCP, that type of stuff. There was something about 10, 15 years ago in Greensboro, North Carolina, where some dude that was obviously not a good part of society was selling the stuff and on it, using his own product and stuff. And he came out, and it was one of these last shootout type things in Hollywood. You'd see Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, and he just came out, and honestly, the cops, without being too graphic or whatever, they put 30, 40 pieces of lead in the guy, and he was still coming. Apparently, they weren't doing headshots. I won't go there, but anyway, they were mostly probably body shots. I don't know. I didn't see the, but if one of them had one of these, it would have been done. This is actually more effective than anything that you can have as a handgun or anything. And it's gonna eliminate the situation. It won't eliminate him, so you won't have to face a jury of 12 later on to determine, yeah, the guy's an idiot and you were in your legal right to defend yourself, because we have to do those things today in this society. But this is, again, I feel like Vanna White a little bit with this. Hey, pick the R. But this stuff here is better than a 45. That's why I bought several of them.
I mean, and I'm a firearms owner, handguns and rifles. Grew up with them here in Montana. Been shooting since I was tiny. Could barely hold the 38 that my dad had me shooting when I was, starting as a young boy. But for a lot of reasons, this is a better choice. There is a place for firearms, and I am for responsible firearm ownership.
Absolutely.
Includes having the proper training and a whole bunch of things. Just going out and buying a gun, no, you need to train. You need to have a lot of things that go with that. But this can, in a school situation, I don't want all the teachers opening up fire with firearms. We know from law enforcement during shootouts how many rounds miss. We can't afford a shootout in a school with all these rounds missing with kids everywhere.
Exactly.
And teachers became teachers because they didn't want to be cops and military personnel. So, and there's going to be a hesitation by a lot of people. If you don't have the right mindset to actually kill someone, which is a big step, there's going to be some hesitation. No hesitation with this. You can just blast that guy. Even if you're wrong and you screw up and you squirt the guy and he didn't deserve it, you get the antidote and you clean him up. He was in pain for a few minutes with his eyes closed. It sucked, but no permanent damage. So you can feel more confident and not have the hesitation when you use a product like this. And again, you don't have to worry about somebody mistakenly getting killed. Nobody's going to get killed.
Exactly.
Especially easier to live with.
Especially you. Because if there's a situation where you're pulling out anything, a pea shooter, whatever, a cannon, anything in between, there's obviously something that predicated that movement, unless if you're some kind of psycho. Hey, maybe I am.
Yeah.
But what you said was very important, because there's a lot of people that I know. I've helped more than one lady with
Mhm.
getting a little 38, because it's pocket purseable, and it's not a big cannon, and it's not a semi-auto, so you just load it. It's a wheel gun. There's
Mhm.
no But there's that problem of, pardon me, putting putting it this way and putting it up to somebody, and there's no time. You have to immediately do it, because they can be across the room before you get the second shot off. And decent people and the good people that you and I have friends with, there's so many people out there that we know that are wonderful people. God put a speed, without getting all religious, God or whatever, Mother Nature, or however you believe, put a speed bump in us to not want to kill people.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you're not a big Tom Brady fan, you didn't want to kill him.
Well, another advantage on something like this, if you're at the mall,
Yeah,
say the lady's at the mall, she parked a little bit farther away because that was the only thing available, or she's trying to get extra steps in today. She goes out and it's like, wow, it got dark already, and she's a little nervous.
exactly.
Just pull this out and have it in your hand. Just the fact that you did that makes your mind more aware, and you're going to be paying better of attention and less likely to be chosen as a victim in the first place. So this could help you without ever even using it, because you're not walking across the parking lot like this where a mugger says, ooh, there's an easy one. You have it in your hand and you're walking around the parking lot like this, and that mugger's like, I ain't messing with that one. Because they're looking for easy scores. They're looking
Exactly.
So it can help people be more aware, because taking it out of the bag triggers that time to pay attention to where I'm at and what I'm doing, and that'll
Good
keep.
point. Good
And
point.
if you do need it, it's already in your hand. You're not searching for it, because no weapon is good if you can't deploy it. And so if this is at the bottom of a bag where you can't find it, or your gun is at the bottom of a bag where you can't find it and you can't deploy it and you've never trained and practiced, they're not going to do you any good.
Right. And generally, crooks, especially parking lot type crooks, they're cowards anyway, and they're looking for they're looking for low-hanging fruit.
Yeah, they want the easy score.
If
And they
if
want to get away with it and get away. I mean, they want to get their stuff, whatever it is, and get away. They don't want to be hurt. They don't want to be caught. If the person looks like they could hurt them or catch them, they're going to look for somebody easier.
Yeah, I was practicing proper muzzle discipline, by the way. I was looking very closely and making sure it was that way and not that way. But just having it as a visible means of saying, to be crass, don't F with me, because there's going to be a price, Buster. Because that's a language someone like that is going to appreciate, that in Sunday school or wherever you can't think about, but there's no law against taking care of yourself and protecting number one. Because
we have had nurses, and usually the hospitals are putting this size in, and they're putting nurse stations or underneath the front desk, so people can just grab them out of the docking station. We have had nurses pull these out, point them, and guys de-escalated and stopped. So
I wonder why.
Just holding these, we've been told by nurses that, yeah, he quit when I pointed it at him and didn't come any closer. Just holding these have kept some hospital people safe.
And that's what today was all about. Do you have anything to say in conclusion, other than buy boatloads of your product because it's the best out there?
What I want to tell everybody, the most important thing is start paying more attention. Pay attention to life. Be aware of everything going around you. It's not because I want you to be paranoid and scared. I want you to see all the good stuff. You can't stop and smell the flowers if you don't see them in the first place. So pay more attention. You will see more good things. You'll be able to enjoy more, but you will also be better prepared to see potential bad things and be able to act and respond and get yourself to safety before it goes too far. That's the best thing you can do for your safety. And I want you to be safe because I want you to enjoy life. Just get out and enjoy everything out there, but just practice some safe habits and awareness principles, and you can do so much more safely. And that'll allow you to enjoy even more.
Well, Alan, what a way to end. And I learned something today. I hope people that listened came on. First of all, thank you, everybody. If you liked it, please like it. Make your comments, subscribe, but do look into the Protect product because I feel it's the best on the market. It's certainly, you know, 10% pepper spray 10, 20 years ago. That was it. That was it. And oops, hang on. Oh my.
You froze on us, DR. But yeah, pepper spray used to be, the best that people had. And now there's something better. We've changed the game with Reflex Protect. And people
my camera got all emotional on me. Alan.
Yeah, you were like all stuck and
yeah, it's okay. That happens. And I've got the mouth of the South, so a lot of people consider that a blessing when that happens. Thank you so much. We'll see you in just a minute. Anyway, everybody, thank you so much for joining us today. Really enjoyed it. Hope you did. Hope you learned something. Hope you reach out and stay safe. It's a dangerous world out there. We really need to pay more attention on things that are around us to protect us and those who we love, because there's other things out there that really go bump in the night, and you don't have to be a victim. Thanks again. Join me soon. Next Tuesday night, I'll have another guest, and Friday I've got a special guest at this time on relationships. And I hope you enjoy everything. Once again, enjoy the journey.